Well, Stephen King movies back in the 80s and 90s, they were not that good. I mean, I did enjoy the It movie,
Oh, the TV
the
movie
made-for-TV movie.
with
Was it?
Tim Curry.
Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed that as a kid.
Me too.
I've watched it again recently, and I don't like it nearly as much, especially since the new It movie came out,
Right.
where Bill Skarsgård played
Yeah.
Pennywise. I thought he nailed it.
Well, they had more license to be more scary and gory. I mean,
Yeah, but
TV
even just playing the character, I mean, I liked Tim Curry's version, but Bill Skarsgård version was just that much better. Not so much the gore, just
straight menacing.
yeah,
Where Tim Curry had more of a comedic element, I would say, to it.
yeah,
Where it was more of a circus element. But
yeah.
there is nothing circus about the new It or
No.
Skarsgård
No, there wasn't.
take on that character.
But I thought those were well done. At least the first one. I liked the first one more than the second one.
You know, I actually somewhat like Cujo. I mean, Cujo, I don't mind Cujo. I mean, that had a lot of tension in it, even if it's such a basic premise.
It is. And to me, it was just a little boring. Because it's two
Really?
people trapped in a car.
Right.
And that's basically all it is. And they're just trying not to get eaten by this dog with rabies.
Right.
Yeah, there's some moments to it, but overall, I just wasn't too impressed with it. Like, I was just watching Christine the other day, and that's since we're on a Stephen King kick right now. And I'm not a huge fan of that one either.
Me either. I love the story though.
Yeah.
I read the story. I really love that story. That's a pretty awesome story. I love the whole classic car thing about it.
Yeah,
And he really gets into like the songs too,
yeah.
you know, for certain scenes.
Yeah, and it's all written into the stories.
My least favorite horror movie is probably a Stephen King movie, and it has to be Carrie.
Yeah.
I just did not like Carrie. I mean, I understand why it's a classic right now, but I didn't like it. I just felt so bad for the main character. And like when she started doing her stuff, I was just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was cheering for her. I was like, this isn't horror. This is like justice.
I think that was the whole idea behind it, though. I mean, you want to root for her at the end to do all these horrible things to these kids.
I guess, but then I mean, I don't know. Is that really horror?
I don't know either. I mean, it is if you're a kid in high school and that crap happens to you all the time.
I guess depending on which side of the fence you were in high school. I mean,
Yeah.
if you were on this side of the fence where you were treated like Carrie, I guess you'd be all like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You know, where you're on the other side and you're just like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
don't take it so seriously. Just, you know, it's a joke, you know. And
Yeah.
I wasn't rooting for her in the traditional horror sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, oh, get away from, you know, get away, or you know, defeat like the evil spirit, that kind of thing. Or, you know, where I was just like, man, when she became the evil thing, and it was just like she was enacting all this bad stuff, and I was just like, yeah. you know, it was.
I mean, that just basically is, if you put that into a real life scenario, that's just basically the kid going to school with a gun nowadays.
Right.
That's a whole nother topic we don't have to talk
Right.
about.
Exactly. And then you have another fine line where your lines are, lines are blurred.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, like, that's something you shouldn't really be rooting for.
No, you shouldn't be rooting for them in that situation.
Yeah, Carrie just, it's not one of my favorite horror films.
No. But yeah, speaking of Stephen King, I forgot all about Pet Sematary.
That's a Stephen King movie that I do like.
I do like that one
I like
too.
the original
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, the original. Yep.
with Denise Crosby.
Mm-hmm. And who the hell played
Micah something, who at that period played in a lot of films.
He was like the horror kid.
He was in a shitload.
He was. A couple of birds flying by and checking out the conversation.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, because he was in Wes Craven's New Nightmare too.
Right.
But who played Munster? Can't remember his name. Anyway, I thought he did a great job, especially with the accent. It takes place in Maine. That Maine accent is hard to do.
Oh, the guy who played Herman Mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his real name.
Oh man, that's sad. I can't either. It's not popping up.
If you told me, I'd say yes, that's it, but I can't think of it right now.
Something Gwynn. His last name is Gwynn.
Fred
Fred Gwynn.
Gwynn.
That's it.
Yeah, put our minds together, we can
That's
figure it out.
it.
But no, I mean, like I said, he did a great job with that. I think everybody did a good job. Even Miko Hughes, that's what his name is. Miko Hughes did a great job because he played, after he came back, he played a really good, creepy little kid. He's probably like 12 by then, but. But he did a really good job, I thought, for being such a young actor to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, that movie was creepy.
It was creepy.
I think that was one of Stephen King's better films in that era.
Yeah, I agree. If not
Like
the best.
80s, early 90s, late
Yeah.
80s, early 90s.
For me, it might be the best one.
Right, of that time.
Yeah, because I'm not a fan of The Shining.
Really?
I'm not a big fan. It's all right, but I definitely wouldn't put that in my top 10.
You're gonna get a lot of hate comments on that.
It's all right. It's all right. That's why we have opinions. We're allowed to have them.
Because I think that is like one of the top like horror films. I still haven't like fully seen that movie.
You haven't?
Um,
All right. It's
I
a
like
long one.
it's like just goes over my head. I know the smile,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody know Jack's smile,
Yeah.
but yeah, and as the film, I tried watching Doctor Sleep with
Didn't
Ewan
even see
McGregor.
that. Yeah, didn't see it.
Tried watching that. No, just
Couldn't do it.
No,
So you're not a big fan either then?
no, I just didn't do
It
it.
didn't. It doesn't hook you right away. That's what a movie's supposed to do. It's supposed to suck you in.
Another good Stephen King film is The Thinner.
I have not seen that in so long. I barely remember it.
I like that film. I like that film.
We got the voodoo curse put on him. Is that what it was? And
Right. Another one was the one with Christopher Walken, The Dead Zone.
Dead Zone. I don't think I saw all of that. I don't know if I saw any of it.
Yeah, The Dead Zone. That's a good movie. Christopher Walken.
Wow. You know.
Oh, I'm in the zone. That has to bring me to Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet. I was just watching that the other day.
Man, that movie got ripped to shreds by critics when it first came out. I mean, ripped to shreds. I mean, it might be a cult classic now,
Yeah.
or people are just like enjoying it, but no, back then that was just widely panned. But when I first watched it, I enjoyed it because I was a kid when I
Yeah.
first watched it, and stuff like that was still able to freak me out at that age.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now I watch it and I get the camp. I get why critics are just like,
Yeah.
what? I mean, like with the werewolf with the bat.
Yeah. No, there's some things that, executive producers get in the way and say, hey, this should happen. And then they're like, all right, well.
We're having to deviate from the source material and bringing it to a PG-13 audience.
Yeah.
What I really love about that movie, it was the first time I saw a decent werewolf transformation.
Okay.
I didn't just see it once, I saw it multiple times. My favorite scene is that church scene where the priest and he's talking to like a crowd and they all wolf out. It's not scary, but just watching the transformations,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, that's just awesome. And like the end scene, watching the transformation,
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, wow. Basically, that blew me away. I still watch it. It still holds up
Yeah.
somewhat. But yeah, that movie is basically a story about siblings, and it happened to be brother and sister.
Usually with a Stephen King story, it's more than just the horror. There's something else going on.
And I had a major crush on the sister. I still remember her name.
You can look it up.
Well, no, I remember her name. It's Megan Follows. That was the first Stephen King movie where I actually read the book first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Cycle of a Werewolf. I read that short story first, and I really loved the original short story.
Yeah, I never read that one. I've read a lot of Stephen King, but I have not read Cycle of the Werewolf.
That is one of Stephen King's stories where I thought it translated well to screen. Yeah, whereas all the other ones before that, I really didn't like them.
Well, Stephen King movies back in the 80s and 90s, they were not that good.
Hey, thanks for joining us as we share some of our thoughts on early Stephen King movies. Of course, you don't have to agree with us, but leave some comments and share what are some of your favorite early Stephen King films or least favorite Stephen King movies. Anyway, if you're a horror fan, we have other videos where we discuss some of our favorite horror movies and some of our least favorite horror movies, so be sure to check those out. Until next time, see you then, and take care.